Hi, y'all. Welcome, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, it's your opportunity to be a voice, folks. It's that simple. All righty, a lot of stuff going out there. Paul Ryan is a wuss. I'm being nice.
Oh, you just opened up firing, didn't you?
Glenn Beck is a ridiculous. I've never been impressed with Glenn Beck in my life. I used to like some of the stuff he did, but never. He endorsed Hillary today. I mean,
wait a minute. Did he actually say he endorsed her, or he was basically saying he's not?
I was told that he endorsed Hillary. Now, I haven't seen that yet personally. I haven't seen. But if he did that, I'm going to read
you the quote that I saw on that. Just continue.
I'm just saying if he did that, nobody cares what this election means. We already saw what Obama's done to the state and to the country. He's really knifed us. And the people that can't see that, I can't help them. Some people, this ain't white or black, I'm just people. People that include black, white, green, and yellow will never see things clearly. Will never even, they can't, their spiritual eyes, they're blinded. They have no, until they open up their eyes and their heart, they can't see what I'm talking about. And Hillary would just destroy this. All right, you got this quote?
This is what Glenn Beck said, and this is pretty much like an endorsement, but you take what it will. This is a quote. If the consequence of standing against Trump and for principles is indeed the election of Hillary Clinton, so be it. At least it is a moral, ethical choice.
Yeah, moral, ethical choice. That's what I mean. A moral, ethical choice to vote for somebody who is so evil. If you got to ethically choose somebody that breaks the law and gets away with it, abuse women, that says, I'm going to open the borders and let everybody come in. I want everybody coming in. Destroying our culture, destroying our Christian culture that's been destroyed anyway, but destroying it on a daily basis. I mean, who in the heck is Beck? I know a lot of people believe. I got people on Glenn Beck. I've used stuff from him before. I didn't say he's not good at going find information, Brandon. Some people are good at finding information and finding out stuff that's good. But he's great
at breaking it down too.
Yeah, I know it is, no doubt about it. But it tells you right now, the people that are thinking Hillary, what she's going to do to the country with the Supreme Court justice is just that. It's going to be enough. Anytime they need a decision, they're going to get it to the Supreme Court justice, and the justice is going to rule in her favor. Yeah, they're going to rule against a few things against her because they are. If we see them rule against Obama, that hasn't stopped him. You know, it's an amazing thing to watch. By the way, the biggest breaking news today, Brandon, is Chief Aide and David Duke Senate campaign resigns. Oh, Duke's going to get 2%.
Should I break out the breaking news sounder for that one?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, Duke's story. Oh, he going to fall down. He never had a chance. Press made a big deal about him. Try to put Trump on him. You know, and that's another thing. Journalism's so dead. You know, Hannity used to say that years ago. It really is dead. There is no journalism, hardly any anymore, that's just telling us the information we need to know for you to decide. There's really not much out there anymore. And you can forget ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC. All that is in the tank for Hillary. They went in the tank for Obama. You're never going to hear the truth. You know, if a Republican was running this country right now, they would be interviewing the devastation of Obamacare all over the country every day in the news. Another story of another family that can't buy insurance. Another family what is too high. You don't see none of that. They did all that when Clinton ran the first time. The job market was getting ready to explode. We had great growth in the job. They didn't focus on that. They focused on people who hadn't had jobs. They would be doing interviews if a Republican was in charge right now. They would be doing interviews about the terrorism act that's happening in this country. They would be doing interviews with people who have lost their jobs, who can't make the money they used to make. They would be doing that kind of news every single day if they were journalists. If they did it for one, they did it for another. They would be talking about the massive debt. They did when George Bush ran, the massive debt, which was about $4 trillion back then, I believe, $3 or $4 trillion. And Brandon would talk about, yes, is that 20? And Obama has pushed a lot of these policies. They don't never mention, never talk to anybody, never going to. I like Drudge's report. Picture Hillary Clinton with the witch hat on. Season of the Witch. I'm just telling you what they got on there. I think it's a pretty good shot on the money. It's just a shame. Then there's Paul Ryan, House Speaker. I mean, just when I watch a person like this is the problem. This is the problem Republicans have. It's with people like Paul Ryan, who becomes Speaker of the House, who never stopped Obama in anything. You know, he's all upset about Donald Trump. And he didn't pull his endorsement, Brandon, but basically he's telling everybody, hey, just go save your seat. Acting like this election is not over. It's not over. Paul Ryan epitomizes to me what's wrong with politics. Why have a party? Why have a system? They went through this system and Donald Trump won. I told y'all what was coming. There was no doubt what they were going to do to Donald Trump. They were waiting, and then they were going to bomb him. And they bombed him. Okay? Bombed him, and they're going to continue to bomb him. And Paul has no guts. Paul is worried about me. That's all he's worried about. Typical politician. I mean, this is why we don't win anymore in the country. Trump being tough. We need somebody tough in this country. We need somebody tough to lead the country. We don't need any more wusses and wimps like Paul and Obama and all these negotiators that negotiate the hell out of everything, and we lose. How come when they negotiate, we lose? They negotiate, we lose financially. They negotiate, we got more debt. They negotiate, people run across the borders. They negotiate, we got terrorism act in the country now. They negotiate, we're going to lose our gun rights. They negotiate, we're going to lose our freedom. They negotiate, we got a new definition of marriage. We need somebody tough. We really need somebody tough. Now, by the way, Brandon, the reason why Drudge is doing what they're doing, WikiLeaks, emails released just moments ago include a shocking admission, you ready, by Clinton campaign manager John Podesta, that Hillary Clinton has begun to hate everyday Americans. This is the headline news on Drudge right now. To hate everyday Americans. She does. All this fake laugh and fake stuff. I'm going to help the people in the inner cities and I'm going to help jobs. All that's fake. She don't care about none of that. I mean, here's a guy that's the closest one to him saying Hillary Clinton has begun to hate everyday Americans. I mean, she hates Americans. But boy, did you hear what Donald Trump said? This woman hates people. He says, I know she has begun to hate everyday Americans, but I think we should use it once in the first time she says, I'm running for president because you and everyday Americans need a champion. I think if she doesn't say it once, people will notice and say we false started an hour. And this guy said it. She's never happy. And she's very vindictive. Folks, this is a huge story breaking right now. This is the person close enough to him. And they got a picture. Season of the Witch hates everyday Americans. She does. You think she cares about inner city blacks? She cares for their votes. Obama only cared for their vote. He cares more about running the country by opening the borders like she does. Open, everybody come in. Yeah, Sharia law, no problem. This is what's coming to America. It's here. We can stop it. And we choose to listen to politicians like Paul Ryan. You know? Ryan said he would devote, watch this. Ryan said he would devote his energy to ensuing Clinton doesn't get blank check. Well, he gave Obama a blank check. What is it? How is he going to stop her? CBS now is jumping up and down saying the Democrats going to win the House and Senate because of what Trump said, which what he said, every American ever born that's 18 and over minimum has said negative and nasty things about somebody, some person, some race, some color, some creed, something during their lifetime. They have. It's a non-issue in the fact that we all don't want to be recorded. Nobody wants to be recorded. Matter of fact, I heard Limbaugh yesterday. He sounded like the Moon Griffon show. Not that he was listening to me, Brandon. But he came up and said, name a person that hadn't sinned. Name a person who hadn't said something wrong. I'm talking about from a pastor at a church. It doesn't matter. This unloading on Trump, I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming in a bad way. You know, it's, you know, the DNC, Donna Brazile leaked Bernie Sanders dirt. Why would a Bernie Sanders voter vote for Hillary Clinton after what they did to him in their own party? Also, Hillary took a lot of money. What was it, $24 million from Saudi Arabia? There's a big deal, too, coming out. How Saudi Arabia and al-Qaeda are funding ISIS. Hillary Clinton took $24 million. That ought to be an issue. And these people, these Muslims and people go by Sharia law, I mean, you got to have 5 witnesses. If you rape, you got to have 5 witnesses to be able to prosecute. 5. Treat children and women like dogs in these other countries. And we're going to let them come through the border and change our country and change our culture. I mean, I love the headlines on Drudge right now. Season of the Witch. Hates everyday Americans. She really does. It's a shame she's got to go through this. Everybody ought to be bowing down to her because of the things she's going to do for us, and she's not going to do anything. Go look at the inner cities. Take pictures before Obama and after. They're worse. Take pictures before Hillary Clinton gets in and after. It's going to be worse. You take $10 trillion worth of debt, I wonder what our economy would have really done. And there's Paul Ryan and these liberal leftist wuss. I'm talking about Republicans that make me want to throw up. Say it again. Thank God I'm not a Republican. I just can't be one. Yeah, I vote that way sometimes because I have no choice. But when I look at people like Paul Ryan and Bobby Jindal, we got to take a break. Be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Another 1,000 emails leaked. Apparently we're dealing with Poindexter. It's USO obsession, by the way. How Saudi Arabia and al-Qaeda are funding ISIS. CNN's Jake Tapper, congratulated Poindexter. New York Times, CNBC, John Harwood advised the campaign. There's people working for the press. An aide called Chelsea a spoiled brat. I can believe that. And then Donna Brazile busted, leaking dirty stuff on Bernie Sanders. And then we found out the State Department coordinated email release with Hillary. But Poindexter says this woman hates everyday Americans. All right, the press. Here is, and it's Republicans and Ryan and what the Republicans are doing. Megyn Kelly interviewing, I'm not going to play it all, Brandon, by the way, but anyway, interviewing Mike Huckabee.
Candidate and Fox News contributor. So, Governor, great to see you. This is what we heard from the Trump supporters all along, that, look, you may not love Donald Trump, but he won this thing fair and square. And if you don't get behind him and fight to the bitter end, it's going to cause recriminations in the party for years to come.
That's exactly right. Let me tell you something. Here's a little secret, Megyn. A lot of these bedwetting, hand-wringing Republicans, they're not afraid Donald Trump is going to lose. They're scared to death he's going to win. And if he wins, he's going to mess up the neat little package of fun they have because they all play to the donor class. And Donald Trump is coming to make big changes in the way that these institutions go.
But let me ask you, let me challenge you on that, because in their defense, you know, it's not like nothing happened this weekend. Something big happened. They saw that tape. They were horrified by it. And they had a real, not all maybe, but many had a real come-to-Jesus moment of, can I actually look my daughter, my son, in the face and say, I, in essence, endorsed that conduct? Because you know as well as I do, this isn't the first time he's made derogatory comments about women.
That's exactly right. Look, it's not a big surprise that he is crude and he's vulgar. We all knew that. We knew he wasn't a Sunday school teacher. I think everybody gets that. And nobody's endorsing what he said. My gosh, not even his own family's endorsing it. He isn't endorsing it. He ran from it, apologized for it. I'm waiting on Hillary to apologize for lying to Congress, lying to the American people, destroying evidence.
I just wanted to make the point, and Huckabee makes a great point. Republicans are scared he's going to win. The elitists are scared he's going to win. They out. Paul Ryan, he's not the speaker anymore. Trust me. All the gurus at the trough, Republican and Democrat alike, who's been running this country every year while nothing changes, the debt doesn't change, Social Security doesn't change, illegals don't change, nothing ever changes. They're all at the trough. Give me my money. Don't give a damn about you and me, the average person out there working. They don't care about the middle class. Quit telling me, politicians, you care about us when you don't, because I'm watching what you do. He's right. They're scared Trump's going to win. We need to make sure it happens. And about this tape, I'm sick of hearing it. Megyn Kelly has said stuff that had it been recorded, she would be plumb embarrassed. And so has Mike Huckabee. I'm not jumping Huckabee. Huckabee was a pastor. I've said things, probably this week, that I don't want taped. Everybody's done it. This is not an issue. It becomes an issue because the press is dire to destroy Donald Trump and put a woman in it that's evil and hateful. I'm telling you, Season of the Witch hates everyday Americans. She really does. They think they are above everyday Americans. Ron Paul thinks he's above everyday Americans. These elected officials do. They walk around. Let me take one call real quick. Let's go to Mark in Lafayette. Mark, how you doing?
Moon, thank you so much for taking my call. I was watching Fox last night. You speaking about Megyn Kelly. I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like they're turning against Trump. Megyn is turning against Trump, and so is Shepard Smith. Is it just me, or do you think they're turning on Trump?
No, I told you. The press, when I say the press, I'm talking about all of them. They want to keep things going just like it's going. They know they out. Donald Trump will look at Fox News and say, to hell with y'all, I don't need you anymore. And they don't want that. They'd rather have somebody, that, even though they're not going to get from Hillary, they'll get other people. I mean, they have ordered, they've basically ordered, and even, was it O'Reilly said that the press is totally turned. They've been ordered to turn on Trump. Now, I think that's been ordered probably at Fox News, too. But I know it's been ordered on all other stations. That's their goal now. And I called all this when he won. I said, every bit of this is going on. We're going to still find out a lot of things we didn't want to hear about. But the problem is, like the tape is a downer for Trump, and there's not one person listening to my audience had said something they wouldn't want taped. Not one person in this country over 18.
Right. Well, Moon, you know what? He wasn't even a politician then. He was in show business.
Yeah, if he had did that as the president of the United States, it might be a different story. Oh, it's senator, but that's not when he did it. Good point. Got to run, Mark. Thanks for the call. More to come. Your calls, all welcome here on the Moon Griffon Show. We'll take a break. Be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has that hotline. By the way, this stuff you send now, Ralph Abraham, representative from the 5th Congressional District, used to be where I used to live. Now he comes up and says that Donald Trump ought to step down and let Pence take on. Once again, here we go by these weak-minded Republicans. Mr. Abraham, I've had you on the program before. Quit wussing out. That's what you're doing. You're being a wuss. People like Mr. Abraham and Paul Ryan, you know what they're going to do? If Trump wins, well, I was with him all the time. I knew he would win. That's what these people do. They worry about themselves. You see, and what's going to happen right at the end, and Hillary's already been doing it. They're going to Scott Angel and Jay Darden, everybody. Any Republican that went against Vitter. You remember that? You remember how horrible Jay Darden, which is a leftist, by the way, we do pray for him. He did have a heart attack. Heard he was resting at home. Glad for him physically, and personally, I'm glad for him. Politically, he's still a liberal, but we do pray for his body and his health. We've no doubt about it. But when Scott Angel, who, by the way, is on the ballot, Hi, y'all. Welcome, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, it's your opportunity to be a voice, folks. It's that simple. All righty, a lot of stuff going out there. Paul Ryan is a wuss. I'm being nice.
Oh, you just opened up firing, didn't you?
Glenn Beck is a ridiculous. I've never been impressed with Glenn Beck in my life. I used to like some of the stuff he did, but never. He endorsed Hillary today. I mean,
wait a minute. Did he actually say he endorsed her, or he was basically saying he's not?
I was told that he endorsed Hillary. Now, I haven't seen that yet personally. I haven't seen. But if he did that, I'm going to read you the quote that I saw on that. Just continue. I'm just saying they if he did that, I mean, nobody cares what this election means. We already saw what Obama's done to the state and to the country. He's really knifed us, and the people that can't see that, I can't help them. Some people, this ain't white or black. I'm just people that include black, white, green, and yellow, will never see things clearly. Will never even they can't. Their spiritual eyes, they're blinded. They have no until they open up their eyes and their heart. They can't see what I'm talking about. And Hillary would just destroy this. All right, you got his quote?
This is what Glenn Beck said, and this is pretty much like an endorsement, but you take what it will. This is a quote. If the consequence of standing against Trump and for principles is indeed the election of Hillary Clinton, so be it. At least it is a moral, ethical choice.
Yeah, moral, ethical choice. That's what I mean. A moral, ethical choice to vote for somebody who is so evil. If you got to ethically choose somebody that breaks the law and gets away with it, abuse women, that says, I'm going to open the borders and let everybody come in. I want everybody coming in. Destroying our culture, destroying our Christian culture that's been destroyed anyway, but destroying it on a daily basis. I mean, who in the heck is Beck? I know a lot of people believe. I got people on Glenn Beck. I've used stuff from him before. I didn't say he's not good at going find information, Brandon. Some people are good at finding information and finding out stuff that's good. But he's
great at breaking it down too.
Yeah, I know it is, no doubt about it. But it tells you right now, the people that are thinking Hillary, what she's going to do to the country with the Supreme Court justice is just that's going to be enough. Anytime they need a decision, they're going to get it to the Supreme Court justice, and the justice is going to rule in her favor. Yeah, they're going to rule against a few things against her because they are. If we see them rule against Obama, that stopped him. You know, it's an amazing thing to watch. By the way, the biggest breaking news today, Brandon, is Chief Aide and David Duke's Senate campaign resigns. Oh, Duke's going to get 2%.
Should I break out the breaking news sounder for that one?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, Duke's story. Oh, he going to fall down. He never had a chance. Press made a big deal about him. Try to put Trump on him. You know, and that's another thing. Journalism's so dead. You know, Hannity used to say that years ago. It really is dead. There is no journalism, hardly any anymore, that's just telling us the information we need to know for you to decide. There's really not much out there anymore. And you can forget ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC. All that is in the tank for Hillary. They went in the tank for Obama. You're never going to hear the truth. You know, if a Republican was running this country right now, they would be interviewing the devastation of Obamacare all over the country every day in the news. Another story of another family that can't buy insurance. Another family what is too high. You don't see none of that. They did all that when Clinton ran the first time. The job market was getting ready to explode. We had great growth in the job. They didn't focus on that. They focused on people who hadn't had jobs. They would be doing interviews if a Republican was in charge right now. They would be doing interviews about the terrorism act that's happening in this country. They would be doing interviews with people who have lost their jobs, who can't make the money they used to make. They would be doing that kind of news every single day if they were journalists. If they did it for one, they did it for another. They would be talking about the massive debt. They did when George Bush ran, the massive debt, which was about $4 trillion back then, I believe, $3 or $4 trillion. And Brandon would talk about, yes, is that 20? And Obama has pushed a lot of these policies. They don't never mention, never talk to anybody, never going to. I like Drudge's report. Picture Hillary Clinton with the witch hat on. Season of the Witch. I'm just telling you what they got on there. I think it's a pretty good shot on the money. It's just a shame. Then there's Paul Ryan, House Speaker. I mean, just when I watch a person like this is the problem. This is the problem Republicans have. It's with people like Paul Ryan, who becomes Speaker of the House, who never stopped Obama in anything. You know, he's all upset about Donald Trump. And he didn't pull his endorsement, Brandon, but basically he's telling everybody, hey, just go save your seat. Acting like this election is not over. It's not over. Paul Ryan epitomizes to me what's wrong with politics. What's wrong with politics? Why have a party? Why have a system? They went through this system and Donald Trump won. I told y'all what was coming. There was no doubt what they were going to do to Donald Trump. They were waiting, and then they were going to bomb him. And they bombed him. Okay? Bombed him, and they're going to continue to bomb him. And Paul has no guts. Paul is worried about me. That's all he's worried about. That's all he's worried about. Typical politician. I mean, this is why we don't win anymore in the country. Trump being tough. We need somebody tough in this country. We need somebody tough to lead the country. We don't need any more wusses and wimps like Paul and Obama and all these negotiators that negotiate the hell out of everything. We lose. How come when they negotiate, we lose? They negotiate, we lose financially. They negotiate, we got more debt. They negotiate, people run across the borders. They negotiate, we got terrorism act in the country now. They negotiate, we're going to lose our gun rights. They negotiate, we're going to lose our freedom. They negotiate, we got a new definition of marriage. We need somebody tough. We really need somebody tough. Now, by the way, Brandon, the reason why Drudge is doing what they're doing, WikiLeaks, emails released just moments ago include a shocking admission, you ready, by Clinton campaign manager John Podesta, that Hillary Clinton has begun to hate everyday Americans. This is the headline news on Drudge right now. To hate everyday Americans. She does. All this fake laugh and fake stuff. I'm going to help the people in the inner cities and I'm going to help jobs. All that's fake. She don't care about none of that. I mean, here's a guy that's the closest one to him saying Hillary Clinton has begun to hate everyday Americans. I mean, she hates America. But boy, did you hear what Donald Trump said? This woman hates people. He says, I know she has begun to hate everyday Americans, but I think we should use it once in the first time she says I'm running for president because you and everyday Americans need a champion. I think if she doesn't say it once, people will notice and say we false started an hour. And this guy said it. She's never happy. And she's very vindictive. Folks, this is a huge story breaking right now. This is the person close enough to him. And they got a picture. Season of the Witch hates everyday Americans. She does. You think she cares about inner city blacks? She cares for their votes. Obama only cared for their vote. He cares more about running the country by opening the borders like she does. Open, everybody come in. Yeah, Sharia law, no problem. This is what's coming to America. It's here. We can stop it. And we choose to listen to politicians like Paul Ryan. You know? Ryan said he would devote, watch this, Ryan said he would devote his energy to ensuing Clinton doesn't get blank check. Well, he gave Obama a blank check. What is it? How is he going to stop her? CBS now is jumping up and down saying that Democrats going to win the House and Senate because of what Trump said, which what he said, every American ever born that's 18 and over minimum has said negative and nasty things about somebody, some person, some race, some color, some creed, something during their lifetime. They have. It's a non-issue in the fact that we all don't want to be recorded. Nobody wants to be recorded. Matter of fact, I heard Limbaugh yesterday. He sounded like the Moon Griffon show. Not that he was listening to me, Brandon. But he came up and said, name a person that hadn't sinned. Name a person who hadn't said something wrong. I'm talking about from a pastor at a church. It doesn't matter. This unloading on Trump, I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming in a bad way. You know, it's, you know, the DNC, Donna Brazile leaked Bernie Sanders dirt. Why would a Bernie Sanders voter vote for Hillary Clinton after what they did to him in their own party? Also, Hillary took a lot of money. What was it, $24 million from Saudi Arabia? There's a big deal, too, coming out. It's how Saudi Arabia and Al-Qaeda are funding ISIS. Hillary Clinton took $24 million. That ought to be an issue. And these people, these Muslims and people go by Sharia law, I mean, you got to have 5 witnesses. If you rape, you got to have 5 witnesses to be able to prosecute. 5. Treat children and women like dogs in these other countries. And we're going to let them come through the border and change our country and change our culture. I mean, I love the headlines on Drudge right now. Season of the Witch. Hates everyday Americans. She really does. It's a shame she's got to go through this. Everybody ought to be bowing down to her because of the things she's going to do for us, and she's not going to do anything. Go look at the inner cities. Take pictures before Obama and after. They're worse. Take pictures before Hillary Clinton gets in and after. It's going to be worse. You take $10 trillion worth of debt, I wonder what our economy would have really done. And there's Paul Ryan and these liberal leftist wuss. I'm talking about Republicans that make me want to throw up. Say it again. Thank God I'm not a Republican. I just can't be one. Yeah, I vote that way sometimes because I have no choice. But when I look at people like Paul Ryan and Bobby Jindal, we got to take a break. Be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Another 1,000 emails leaked. Apparently we're dealing with Poindexter. It's USO obsession, by the way. How Saudi Arabia and Al-Qaeda are funding ISIS. CNN Jake Tapper, congratulated Poindexter. New York Times, CNBC, John Harwood advised the campaign. There's people working for the press. An aide called Chelsea a spoiled brat. I can believe that. And then Donna Brazile busted, leaking dirty stuff on Bernie Sanders. And then we found out the State Department coordinated email release with Hillary. But Poindexter says this woman hates everyday Americans. All right, the press. Here is, and it's Republicans and Ryan and what the Republicans are doing. Megyn Kelly interviewing, I'm not going to play it all, Brandon, by the way, but anyway, interviewing Mike Huckabee.
So candidate and Fox News contributor. So, Governor, great to see you. This is what we heard from the Trump supporters all along, that, look, you may not love Donald Trump, but he won this thing fair and square. And if you don't get behind him and fight to the bitter end, it's going to cause recriminations in the party for years to come.
That's exactly right. Let me tell you something. Here's a little secret, Megyn. A lot of these bedwetting, hand-wringing Republicans, they're not afraid Donald Trump is going to lose. They're scared to death he's going to win. And if he wins, he's going to mess up the neat little package of fun they have because they all play to the donor class. And Donald Trump is coming to make big changes in the way that these institutions go.
But let me ask you, let me challenge you on that, because in their defense, you know, it's not like nothing happened this weekend. Something big happened. They saw that tape. They were horrified by it. And they had a real, not all maybe, but many had a real come-to-Jesus moment of, can I actually look my daughter, my son, in the face and say, I, in essence, endorsed that conduct? Because you know as well as I do, this isn't the first time he's made derogatory comments about women.
That's exactly right. Look, it's not a big surprise that he is crude and he's vulgar. We all knew that. We knew he wasn't a Sunday school teacher. I think everybody gets that. And nobody's endorsing what he said. My gosh, not even his own family's endorsing it. He isn't endorsing it. He ran from it, apologized for it. I'm waiting on Hillary to apologize for lying to Congress, lying to the American people, destroying evidence.
I just wanted to make the point, and Huckabee makes a great point. Republicans are scared he's going to win. The elitists are scared he's going to win. They out. Paul Ryan, he's not the speaker anymore. Trust me. All the gurus at the trough, Republican and Democrat alike, who's been running this country every year while nothing changes, the debt doesn't change, Social Security doesn't change, illegals don't change, nothing ever changes. They're all at the trough. Give me my money. Don't give a damn about you and me, the average person out there working. They don't care about the middle class. Quit telling me, politicians, you care about us when you don't, because I'm watching what you do. He's right. They're scared Trump's going to win. We need to make sure it happens. And about this tape, I'm sick of hearing it. Megyn Kelly has said stuff that had it been recorded, she would be plumb embarrassed. And so has Mike Huckabee. I'm not jumping Huckabee. Huckabee was a pastor. I've said things, probably this week, that I don't want taped. Everybody's done it. This is not an issue. It becomes an issue because the press is dire to destroy Donald Trump and put a woman in it that's evil and hateful. I'm telling you, Season of the Witch hates everyday Americans. She really does. They think they are above everyday Americans. Ron Paul thinks he's above everyday Americans. These elected officials do. They walk around. Let me take one call real quick. Let's go to Mark in Lafayette. Mark, how you doing?
Moon, thank you so much for taking my call. I was watching Fox last night. You speaking about Megyn Kelly. I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like they're turning against Trump. Megyn is turning against Trump, and so is Shepard Smith. Is it just me, or do you think they're turning on Trump?
No, I told you. The press, when I say the press, I'm talking about all of them. They want to keep things going just like it's going. They know they out. Donald Trump will look at Fox News and say, to hell with y'all, I don't need you anymore. And they don't want that. They'd rather have somebody, even though they're not going to get from Hillary, they'll get other people. I mean, they have ordered, they've basically ordered, and even, O'Reilly said that the press is totally turned. They've been ordered to turn on Trump. Now, I think that's been ordered probably at Fox News, too. But I know it's been ordered on all other stations. That's their goal now. And I called all this when he won. I said, every bit of this is going on. We're going to still find out a lot of things we didn't want to hear about. But the problem is, like the tape is a downer for Trump, and there's not one person listening to my audience had said something they wouldn't want taped. Not one person in this country over 18.
Right. Well, Moon, you know what? He wasn't even a politician then. He was in show business.
Yeah, if he had did that as the president of the United States, it might be a different story. Or it's senator, but that's not when he did it. Good point. Got to run, Mark. Thanks for the call. More to come. Your calls, all welcome here on the Moon Griffon Show. We'll take a break. Be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has that hotline. By the way, this stuff you send now, Ralph Abraham, the representative from the 5th Congressional District, used to be where I used to live. Now he comes up and says that Donald Trump ought to step down and let Pence take on. Once again, here we go by these weak-minded Republicans. Mr. Abraham, I've had you on the program before. Quit wussing out. That's what you're doing. You're being a wuss. People like Mr. Abraham and Paul Ryan, you know what they're going to do? If Trump wins, well, I was with him all the time. I knew he would win. That's what these people do. They worry about themselves. You see, and what's going to happen right at the end? And Hillary's already been doing it. They're going to Scott Angel and Jay Darden, everybody. Any Republican that went against Vitter. You remember that? You remember how horrible Jay Darden, which is a leftist, by the way, we do pray for him. He did have a heart attack. Heard he was resting at home. Glad for him physically, and personally, I'm glad for him. Politically, he's still a liberal, but we do pray for his body and his health. There's no doubt about it. But when Scott Angel, who, by the way, is on the ballot, have a chance to really send a message to the leftists, and Jay Darden, okay, what they did to Vitter to put a Obama person in, and look what they've done. Hillary would be 10, 50 times worse than that. You got John Bel Edwards taxing us to prosperity. Every time he opens his mouth, he wants another tax. So, yeah, I'm just telling you, they're taking these Republicans. They'll take their information. They're going to put it out there because of weak political Republicans, which, by the way, a lot of them, I'm going to say all, I'm going to say most, but a lot of them are so weak. And they're the reason we're in the position we're in. Well, they're the reasons. The reason we are in the position we're in is weak Republicans. Bobby Jindal came along through this stake. Y'all are down the back. I called it 8 years. It took some of y'all 7 and 8 years to come across and understand what I was saying. And these weak Republicans are killing us. Donald Trump's tape could be a tape on anybody in the United States of America, including the talk show host, the good-looking talk show host you're listening to now. I've said things, thank God they didn't tape. I talked to my mama yesterday. She called me about throwing her under the bus last night. She called me and threw it. My own mama called me. She said, Moon, why don't you tell people that I told you not to say something? I said, well, Mom, you did. She said, I know, but you don't have to tell people. My mama said, you're right. This is my mom. She raised 5 of us. 4 ugly kids and 1 good looking, but she raised 5 of us. This is my own mom. This is an issue. Oh, by the way, Brandon, I don't know if she put it on a Facebook. Facebook Moon Griffon. And this is a Facebook, if it's on there. Let me, if you'll check real quick, Brandon, for me to see if
yeah.
Okay. Check my Facebook. We're worried about what Trump said, right? Go look at my Facebook today of what these so-called entertainers do to our kids. What they say, how they act, what they do, and boy, they all upset about what Trump said. This will tell you everything you need to know. Let's go to the phone lines. Frank in Leesville. How you doing, Frank?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there, Frank, despite me.
Well, I'll tell you what. Trump is right about throwing Hillary in jail. But the thing is, when he gets in there, he needs to start from the local outhouse all the way to the White House or the corruption in this country. He was right on the money. And those people in Congress, Democrats and Republicans, they're all been bought and paid for. They've been bribed, blackmailed, or intimidated, and nobody wants to point the finger at them and get them out of Congress.
Here's the problem.
They keep putting these people back in office.
Well,
that's the problem. I listened to Gomer this morning on C-SPAN. C-SPAN keeps hanging up on me because of the things I say. And these mediators they have for these debates, why doesn't Trump say, get somebody from like WWCR.com, that's Worldwide Christian Radio, get some of those talk show hosts on there, because they say anything they can say anything they want to. The talk show host, and don't take this personal.
I'm not.
But okay,
I don't take anything personal.
And this goes for Fox too. They're just as sinister as the rest of those.
Well, it's not necessarily the talk show, but I'm telling you, you got Chris Wallace. Chris Wallace will be the best one by far, because Chris Wallace will punch back at Trump, and he will punch back at Hillary. He's not going to lead one way or the other. It's not going to happen. So anyway,
the thing is, these people are told what not to say.
I know. I agree with you. They get up there and they told what to say and what not to say. I no problem on that. Let's move on. Paul and Natchitoches. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing pretty good. Real quick on Megyn Kelly. I was watching after the debate. They had Trump's Kellyanne Conway on there, his campaign manager, and they got off on Juanita Broaddrick, and Megyn Kelly got hung up on this deal. Well, Broaddrick, on the sworn affidavit, swore several times she hadn't been assaulted when questioned.
Paul, you there? I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm hearing your Paul, my guy. He was talking to somebody.
Okay.
Anyhow, she brought that up, and I'm going, dude. I mean, people that talked about the Clintons back then turned a head or threatened, harassed. I mean, and Megyn Kelly couldn't put it in context. She got hung up on Juanita Broaddrick, but she didn't talk about all the other women, which proves a pattern of behavior.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a debate we can't win with leftists. I mean, Trump needs to move off this, and he did a good job of it the other night. The moderators stuck him on that for the first 20 or 30 minutes of the debate. And that's the game they're playing, because they really don't want to talk about all these
well, there's an article today. Media smells Republican blood. CBS, NBC, 90 saying Republicans might lose the House and Senate because of Donald Trump. And Paul Ryan Paul Ryan at the same day said, "Hey, let's go fight for your seats." And look, it's all planned. It's all the establishment. Yep. The press is part of the establishment. There are Republicans that are part of the establishment. Democrats are part of the establishment. The establishment does not care what's happening in real America. They're not worried about jobs. All they got to do is get all the press people to get on the same lines. Oh, the economy is great, like they did with Obama. Oh, everything's great. You can go. I mean, they know they own the poor, uneducated vote, and then now they're working hard on the middle class. And middle class people are believing that the government's going to give them health care. The middle class people are believing we're going to get free college tuition now. We're going to get free this and free that, and your life's going to be easy. You never have to work a day, and you buy into that, and then you find out, as you do in Venezuela and Cuba and Russia and all these great Muslim countries, that you're going to be poor and live in a hellhole and controlled all your life. Nobody wants to live like that, but people don't know that because they're not looking. They're not really watching what's going on.
You got the internationalists and the globalists, which is what Paul Ryan's part of. And these people, the John McCain wing, the Paul Ryan, the Bush wing of the Republican Party, would rather kill the Republican Party off. And that's what they're trying to do. And and our little governor, our ex-governor, he was part of that same little club.
Don't you agree with, last thing, don't you agree with Huckabee? They're scared to death Trump wins. The Republicans, these Republicans that are leaving are scared to death he's going to win.
Well, these same big corporations, big bankers, and all that Hillary speaks from, when she tells them what she really thinks in private. If you really want to know what somebody really believes, what they say in private is what they really believe. All that stuff they tell us is just for consumption. But when she talks to them international banking groups,
wouldn't you like to have
open borders and all that? That's her.
Wouldn't you like to have a tape? Wouldn't you like to have a tape of that?
Oh, I'd love it.
I'd love to have a tape of Hillary Clinton.
Makes it real.
Yeah. I know it does, but I would love to have a tape of Hillary Clinton and everything she said. We wouldn't need much. One good tape would be it. But guess what? They're not looking for that tape.
Well, and I don't think it's going. And with the Paul Ryans and like you talked about a while ago, the bottom feeders. Yep. They don't care. I mean, all they care about is they get their deal and they want to keep. By the way, it's really not about Hillary. It's about the country and where we're going. And you could plug anybody in it. If it wasn't Hillary, it would be somebody else, and they'd be saying and doing the same thing to any Republican that believes like Trump.
By the way, some good news out there: NFL ratings dropped again. And they saying they don't have a problem. Oh, they got a problem. They got a problem with me, and I'm like a lot of other people. Y'all burn the flag. Why don't the NFL just burn the flag on the field one day to show us how superior that they can be? I tell you, I drift every day, Brandon. I'd rather go outside and cut grass. I really would. You don't believe me? I do. We got to take a break. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. By the way, we'll have, coming out of the top of the hour, Hillary Clinton with something they had on tape about the male sex organ. Got it right here. We'll play it when we come back, coming out of the top of the hour. Dang, I'm getting down to Oprah Winfrey type talk. Anyway, no, we're going to play it. I just think we ought to play it. It was on tape.
Although I think the TV version of your show would just be called Moon.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. All right, let's jump gears. Public Service Commission race. Very important. There's only one left in the state of Louisiana. Mr. Reldon Owen joins us. He's running for that position. Reldon, how you doing, sir?
Doing fine, Moon. Thanks for having me on your show today.
Yeah, man, looking forward to it. Hey, Reldon, real quick, because people that don't know you, it's a big district. Tell them who you are, a little background about yourself.
Absolutely. I am, although I've been around the politics for a while with my role and my company, I'm a political rookie at 44 years old. I've never run for anything in my life and decided to jump into the deep end of the pool, so to speak, to jump into the PSC race. And, my background is I've got 17 years of working in Louisiana infrastructure. I've also got about 11 years of experience in economic development. And I think that's really important for the PSC going forward because those 5 people, by the decisions that they make, they tacitly set policy about infrastructure for our state. And the economic development impact of that is so great because when any company looks to expand or when they look to come into the state, the 2 things that they ask about are infrastructure and workforce. And I think that's a really important variable that the PSC needs to consider going forward on the decisions that they make.
Mm-hmm. You, this particular position, what do you, Reverend, what do you like that you can bring that you think you can add to this? Because I mean, it's a tough position. It's a position that's going to have a lot of controversies coming up. I know it always has been, but I know it's right around the corner again.
Absolutely. Moon, when I look at it, the analogy that I use is you have a seesaw to some degree. And on one side, you have the ratepayers, the people that have to pay the bills every day. And on the other side, you have the providers of those services. And we need both sides of those equations. And so I think that the PSC kind of stands in the middle of the seesaw, and sometimes with a decision you lean toward the providers. Other times you lean towards the ratepayers. But you don't need it slanted really strongly one way or the other. The goal is to have, just like a seesaw, to kind of have it balanced, because we need the Entergys and the Clecos and the Atmos and all those people. We need them to provide the infrastructure and the service as far as for those utilities. But at the same time, in the economically depressed time that we live in, we have to make it affordable for people at the same time.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's a heck of a balance being in that position, no doubt about it. By the way, we're talking to Reldon Owens. He is running for Public Service Commissioner. It's the only Public Service Commissioner in the state being run, because there's only one other one that's staggered terms. And so we want people to realize that this is the only race that's out there. All right, one of the things that I remember, I don't know if it was Bananas Foster, people used to run that they can lower rates. Can public service commissioners really lower rates? Do y'all have that kind of power if you become one?
The PSC oversees, and let me say this, because a lot of people don't understand what all the PSC does. The Public Service Commission is the regulatory body that looks out for, obviously for the ratepayer, that oversees electric, gas, water and sewer, and telephone. So naturally, when you add all those bills up, that's probably your top third or fourth expense in your household.
Sure.
But also, it's the same way in every small business and in every manufacturer. So it's a very important thing. So to answer your question directly, they have to apply for rate increases. Mm-hmm. And so it goes before the regulators and the economists and all that. So yes, they do have purview over the rates that are charged. Now,
But let me ask this question, because I just remember Bananas Falls. I can lower your rates. That's really, there's not any real truth that you can, not you by the way, that you can campaign, or anybody can campaign on lowering rates, because that's just, I don't think that's reality.
It's a 5-person committee, so no single person can make an arbitrary decision like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point.
I think it's important to know the philosophy of the person. And I'll tell you, my philosophy is simple. I think that we obviously need reliable services. We have to have affordable rates. But obviously, coming out of the private sector, I'm very much a proponent of a competitive environment. Mm-hmm. And I think that's, something that we need to look at going forward. My wife and I, she's a public school teacher here in Rapides Parish, and we have 3 kids. And, that's really what motivated me to do this, because I'm selfish, Moon. I don't want to drive to Vermont to see my grandkids one day. And, if I want Louisiana to be a better place in 15 years or so when my kids start staking their roots, I can either call into your show and complain all the time, or I can say, you know what, I'll step up. I will engage. I'll come off the sidelines. I'll come off the bench, and I'll do what I can to make it a better place. And that's what the PSC is for me, because that's what I know. That's what I've done for 17 years. Yeah. Daily, I make business decisions on analytical information about infrastructure. What more perfect qualification for the PSC than that?
Yeah.
With my kids motivating me in that experience, I decided to throw my hat in the ring and go for it, never having run for anything at 44.
Yeah. By the way, there's nothing wrong with that. Reldon Owens, I'm a special guest public service commissioner. What about customer choice? Now, when I throw this out there, here's how I'm throwing this out there. Should there be more things we can choose from for customers to have choices about utility, electrical bills they can do? Should there be more of a competition deal?
Well, obviously competition is a good thing because it makes everybody perform a little bit better. The company I work for, Diamond B Construction, we live and die at the bid table. So, we have to be efficient and do things consistent and safely to continue to be, a profitable business. And I think that competition is an important aspect. The tough thing is it's such a capital-intensive something. I mean, not just anybody can go throw up a power plant or, put in pipelines for natural gas. So the overhead, the capital expenditures are so vast and costly. Obviously, those providers have a responsibility to their shareholders, but they also have a responsibility to the ratepayers. Mm-hmm. So competition is a good thing, but it is a complicated solution. I mean, because you can't have multiple providers. It's not like an oil change service or something, to where it doesn't take that much just to throw something up and go for it. So there's a balancing act there, but obviously competition makes it better for everybody.
Yeah. All right. 844-766-6607. Hickson has that hotline. All right, you've been out there. What are the customers telling you? If you had to pick a couple things that's in your ear, you're seeing a lot of people right now. What are the customers whispering in your ear telling you, hey, Reldon, here's the problem. Here's something I want to see fixed?
Well, the first thing is they always want to talk about their cell phone bill and the Internet. And the reality is those are regulated by the FCC because those are interstate by definition. So the PSC doesn't have any direct authority over that. Now, with regulating some of the other companies we do, you have influence with those providers, but you don't have authority and regulatory authority over them. So that's probably the number one question I answer. The number two question is what we would expect with most governmental entities. People don't like bureaucracy. They like to be able to get an answer. They like to be able to hear something back quickly and definitively. And, they just want it to operate with the customer in mind.
Mm-hmm. All right, Reldon, I only got about 30 seconds or so. Anything you want to tell a voter real quick?
I would ask you to look at my qualifications, look at my experience, and look how I've lived my life. I'm ethical, I'm moral, I'm professional. I will represent you in a manner that makes you proud. I ask you to go to my website, owens4psc.com, and you can learn more about me than you probably ever wanted to know. And I ask you for your vote November the 8th.
Yeah. All righty, Reldon, appreciate the call. We'll do it again. God bless. Best of luck.
Thank you, Moon. Appreciate it.
All righty. All right. We're going to take a break in just a minute. Brett Guyman will join us at the top of the hour. We will come back with a Hillary, out of Hillary's own mouth. Out of Hillary's own mouth. What's going to happen in this election. Folks, don't go up and down with the election. Don't let it, just don't do it. You don't have to. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Hi, hello. Welcome, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you back with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. In the next segment or two, we'll get to Hillary. She's talking about private parts. Brandon, she wasn't talking about you and me.
Thank goodness.
You're not lying. What a wild world of politics. All righty, 3rd Congressional District. Of course, big race. A lot of candidates in this. And I've said this before we do the next interview, that I think we got 3 or 4 really nice candidates in the race. Maybe more, but at least 3 or 4 nice candidates. You don't always have to vote for the same old politician that can run the mouth the fastest. You'd probably find somebody with substance in this race with no problem. Next guest, Brett Guyman, joins us. Brett's been part of the program way before he decided to run for Congress. Anyway, good to see you again, man.
Good to see you.
I see you working hard because usually I catch you in Lake Charles, actually in studio.
Yeah. Good morning to you.
Well, good morning. I appreciate you. Hey, well, first of all, first question, how you think the race is going? Because I think I don't even think this is almost a pollable race. You got so many people, a lot of undecided still in this race.
I agree with you, and we were talking about that earlier, that I think a lot of people are undecided still. They're looking. They're narrowing down to 3 or 4 candidates who haven't quite made their mind up yet, but we certainly feel good about it, and it's a 12-man race, as you know, and there are some good quality candidates in the race, and so we're just working hard to do well at home on the west side and do as well as we can across the district to get in that runoff
I'm just saying,
spot.
I didn't realize it was 12. I thought it was about 6, and I apologize because there's probably more than the 3 or 4 I'm talking about, but people can really choose. You don't have to stick to the same old crap and expect different results. It's not going to happen. You got to put somebody in here. And I feel like your experience as being a lawmaker before is probably your biggest experience.
I think everyone brings something quality to the table. I'm not, we've many of us have become friends in this race. So you're right. The voter has a choice this time. It's not a vote for the lesser of 2 evil race. So there's definitely,
I don't think it is.
There's definitely some good people in the race. We're running on the experience factor certainly helps me. I think the depth of knowledge on the issues and the fact that I've battled the administration before and worked with the administration before. I've been on both sides of that. I've gone against my party at times on issues, not on fundamentals. But I've taken on some tough issues like Common Core and budget reform over the time I served in the legislature. I think it just gives me a place to come at this race and be able to carve out my niche.
But I agree with you. There's a lot of good people. I tell you what I'm hearing. I mean, a lot of people just really live it with Scott Angel. I'm hearing it every day. And they should be. That shouldn't even be their choice. But I'm also hearing that I'm choosing between this one and this one, or this one and this one. Mm-hmm. And I kind of like that because they're choosing to vote for somebody. And that's not always the case now. We can vote against people. It's hard to vote for somebody. And I do agree with you. I think that's what's going on. But I don't think they narrowed down to 3 or 4. I think they narrowed down to a couple.
Yeah.
And they're saying these are the two guys or like whatever that I really like. And that's a good thing.
No, I think it's a good thing. And I think the race has been very clean to this point. And of course, we made that commitment when we got in March that we were going to run, on what I was going to run on and not worry about what everybody else was doing and go negative. So, and I think so far it's been a very clean race, and the forums have been great. Again, everybody brings something to the table, and so I think the voter has a tough choice, and we're trying to carve out our niche and run on the issues that are important to the people.
Well, that was my next question to you, since you brought it up. 2 or 3 issues. The presidential race has stole the thunder of everything. The Senate race has been basically dead. And when I say dead, it's not been a whole lot of excitement. The press tried to create this David Duke excitement, which he's 2 or 3%. I predicted. I think I'll be right on the money. It's a 0-0, but they try to make a big deal of that. But the Senate race has just been one just kind of moving along, And I think you feel like the congressional race has too because of the floods. Not only the presidential, the floods. The floods slowed down a lot of stuff because people understood that there's a lot of people hurt. So what are they talking to you about? Just not 100 different items, but just 2 or 3 that you feel like are very important.
Absolutely. Well, let me comment on what you just said. I think the race is beginning to pick up. We're 4 weeks out, and we noticed this weekend while we were out walking door to door that
a lot more
people are beginning to respond and go, hey, I've seen a commercial, I've heard a radio ad or whatever, somebody told me about you. So you're starting to feel like people are beginning to pay attention. But the message is the same everywhere. We were in 3 different towns this weekend visiting with people and walking and heard the same message everywhere. People are just, they're just tired of what's going on. They're tired of sending people to Washington and nothing changes. Doesn't matter what party's in control.
Doesn't matter.
We got the budget debt. We got all these things going on. It doesn't seem to fix anything. And we're running on a term limits campaign, and that certainly has gotten a lot of interest out there about term limits, rotation in office, and I've made a commitment to do that and run on that issue as well.
What kind of terms are you telling people?
I'm telling people that I will support any term limit legislation that we can get passed. But I would commit that I would not stay there longer than 12 years, which is equal to 2 terms in the Senate.
Okay.
So it may not stay that long. I
understand that.
But it wouldn't.
I'm just kind of curious.
No, it certainly wouldn't stay longer than that. I think that's plenty. You go in and you do your thing and you go back home, and I think that's what the founders intended was rotation in office. I also talk about congressmen shouldn't become lobbyists. I don't think they should ever become lobbyists.
I would love to see that law change. Yeah. That where you can't be associated with any kind of lobbying. And I really believe that because if you just look at the history of Louisiana, John Breaux, I always say John Breaux, they thought he was so great. Jimmy Hayes, Benny Johnson, Mary Landrieu, Vitter, I hear, is going to be a lobbyist. Tozan. I mean, you go on and on. They all I'm not saying they weren't good people. They're just all lobbyists.
It's not about being good people or bad people or good lobbying firms or bad lobbying firms. It's the points of conflict. If you're going to go to Washington to build a career and retire there, then you're not going for the right reason. And if you're going to become a lobbyist when you're leaving Congress, you're not going to be able to vote on what's best for the people. You're going to be voting on what's best for you and what's best for your. But
if somebody was to bring that
career.
up, if you became a congressman, would bring that up. If you had a lot of new people there, I think you could get the support to get it done.
I think I tell people this all the time. They say, "Well, how do you get that passed? Term limits and anti-lobbying and all that." Well, it's what's got to happen is you have to have more people like me running on that platform that are committed to do it and lead by example and do it anyway. You begin to get more and more people like that run across the country. I've seen some ads from other races across the country where they're making that same commitment, and I think people are beginning to respond to that. And now we're going to be looking for candidates who, hey, where are you on term limits? So we got to ask that at the forum here in Lafayette. They specifically asked that question, where are you on term limits and how long will you stay? I thought that was great. That's what people should be asking.
What else?
Well, obviously my experience on the budget. I served 8 years in the legislature on the Appropriations Committee and took on their administration over their fiscal irresponsibility and ultimately what happened was large tax increases the last session because of what we were trying to fight. We were unsuccessful.
We knew that was coming when Edwards got in.
But the point is I've got a lot of experience in the budget process, and I think that's an area that I'm very comfortable in and have a lot of knowledge in. And we certainly have a national debt and wasteful spending and all the same things in Washington that we have here.
It's a lot bigger.
It's just a lot bigger.
More zeros.
Right. The big issue of the last 4 years of my time in the legislature, of course, was fighting Common Core. And,
But can I ask you this question? I still think we're under Common Core. Am I wrong?
No, we are.
I thought we were. They may have twisted it a little bit, but it's still Common Core.
We fought the battle. You followed it very well. We went around the state. We had town hall meetings. We met with parents. We went to Oklahoma, met with the legislators up there on how they got rid of it. And We ultimately, at the end of the session in 2015, came to what was known as a compromise, basically making the Department of Education follow the law, and have public hearings and adopt it in the transparency of the public and what have you. The problem was, Moon, we were so outnumbered.
Yep.
We were so outnumbered by the appointees on those panels, and then Bessie was certainly pro Common Core at the time.
Well, not only that, you had the chambers and these other groups.
Well, and that's you and I have had that conversation.
Everybody was behind it, but yeah,
you and I have had that conversation. Yeah. The special interest groups were all in on that, and it's tough to beat them. But we did at least get it out to the point where we do now own it. But it is still Common Core like is what I call it.
I thought it was. I said it the other day. It came up, and I told Brandon, I told our audience, I said, folks, we're still in a Common Core. Don't be deceived. We are.
But at least we have some control over it now. We do have the ability now to change it if we wanted to. It's just that we have to change a whole lot of people in the legislature and people on Bessie to get that done. But my platform at the federal level is to get the federal government out of education.
Well, that was my next question to you was dealing with education. I've heard people talk about reform from the president to the governor to the schoolhouse. I've never seen real education reform in my life. I'm 55 years old. I've never, not even close. Anything they've said has not worked. That's why in the state of Louisiana we change it about every 5 years. We change it. We never get to know what the results of what the great program was.
Right. Well, and typically the programs are very similar. We just change the name because the results that are coming in are not what we wanted. So we redo, we change it, we repackage it, we come up with some really nice talking points. And you and I have had that conversation over the past 4 or 5 years as well. The Common Core talking points from the chamber, boy, they sounded really good. We all want to raise our hand and go, heck yeah, we're for all that. But when you really know what they are, it's not what we're for. We don't want to lose control over the curriculum, what our kids are taught, and how our teachers are able to teach them. The culture is different here than it is in other states. And first off, the states ought to be laboratories of innovation anyway.
Well, the problem I think is a lot of this is coming through the federal government, and so the tax dollars are coming before, and here comes the program they want. And I think that is the problem. We're broke. States are broke. The local municipalities are broke.
Money.
The pensions are broke. They're saying, okay, send the money, and then you look over the top the money, and here comes Common Core, whatever else they want you to do, and they go, give me the money, whatever the hell I need to do, I do. Well, that is a problem, and that's something as a congressman you might can affect.
But, Moon, the thing is that the Department of Education, the federal government has no authority over education at all, and constitutional authority, there's none. And we have allowed them to take that.
But I told you why they get it. They get it because of the money.
Well, I understand.
They just send the money, and hey, you going and with these school districts are broke. They're going, man. If I'm gonna get $1 million, if I'm gonna get $2 million, if I'm gonna get $1 billion for the state, you're gonna take it. Last question for you. I'm gonna let you go. And this is gonna be a tough one for you.
Come on.
Presidential election. I'm getting real mad that they released a tape on Trump when he wasn't even an elected official, and then they made it a big deal. And I asked Brandon's laughing because he knows what I'm asking. Would you want your whole life on tape? I wouldn't. On what you said all your life since you were 18?
No, I probably wouldn't.
Nobody would.
I probably wouldn't.
That's not one person could stand up to that. Was it right? No. But the point being is to make it a big issue about something anybody can get in trouble with is a problem.
Well, unfortunately, I think what's happening now is we're going to see a back and forth ping pong between the two candidates at the presidential level, back and forth on tapes they dig up on what he said, she said.
One I just read is that they're coming with Hillary saying the N-word. Well, that says that changes the dynamics again. Here we go. It's in your face.
I think all of us would like to see a discussion on the issues because we are headed in the wrong direction, and we all know that.
You answered it before I asked it. Yeah. The right thing is we need to be issue-oriented races, even the congressional race, the Senate race, especially the presidential race. We're not getting that.
Yeah.
We're not getting a presidential race anyway. I think y'all race, like you said, has been fairly civil to this point. It's like going to the little miniature Moon Griffon shows all over, ain't it? Brett's going, no controversy at all.
Yeah, I hear you.
Brett Guyman's his name, and got a website or some people can get in touch with.
We do. It's GuymanForCongress.com. We have a Facebook page, Brett Guyman for Congress. We have videos on there with all the issues I talk about in depth. It's been we've tried to put all the information out. I don't want anybody to be fooled. I want everybody to know where I'm coming from, and I certainly have a lot of stuff on there about my faith. And we certainly want to make sure that the people know that we want your vote, and we certainly want to get in the runoff, and we think that the race is very winnable for us, so we're looking forward to that.
Brett Guyman's his name, former rep, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
All right, good seeing you again.
All right, brother. All right, quick break. More to Moon Griffon Show. What did Hillary say? We got her on tape now. We got her on tape talking about the male sex organ. They think I'm lying. You better tell your kids, turn it off. We're coming back with Hillary. We'll be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. We'll try to squeeze some calls, and a lot of people have been calling I apologize, but we kind of been tied up and busy this morning. But we'll get your calls, 844-766-6607. It's the Hickson Has It hotline. I do want to mention, you people that really would like to have some fun catching redfish and speckled trout, Captain Norman, he's always told me that October, November are two of the best months of the year. And guess what? We're in October. He's got a few days left in October and some in November. You need to book now for that trip of a lifetime. And it's worth the trip. It's going to be worth the trip, the fun, the beautiful weather, and, of course, the fishing experience with Captain Norman, second to none, down in Hackberry, down past south of Sulphur. Just you owe it to yourself. Take your friends, your family, your relatives. Maybe you're a business guy and you've been wanting to take somebody on a great trip and have some fun. Here's the number, 337-884-0656, 337-884-0656, or go to aspeccharters.com, aspeccharters.com. All right, Hillary Clinton. And it's only about 15 seconds. We'll play it a couple times. I want you to listen to Hillary Clinton. I think it's pretty self-explanatory who she's with. I'm Brandon.
She's with Lena Dunham.
Okay.
Who people will remember her for the thing that she got into with Rush Limbaugh. Yeah.
Okay. I remember.
Lena Dunham is looked at as kind of like a champion on the left.
Okay.
So here you go. It's on Lena Dunham's show.
Oh, yeah. She'll look for it. Penis. Hillary Clinton wants to be president of the United States. Shouldn't that condemn them? Shouldn't Democrats be popping to the press? Ought to be turning around and ripping their head off, right? No. No, not at all. Incredible. By the way, now they're starting out with Trump. Truest believers start to worry. Well, why shouldn't they? All they read about is negative stuff on Trump. Okay. And then they're saying that the GOP civil war, and they predict loss of House and Senate seat, which is not going to happen, folks. People aren't buying into this. That's why Ralph Aberson, Congressman Aberson, what an embarrassment. What an embarrassment of, what an embarrassment. Embarrassment of what's going on and what the press is doing. Let them run. Let them run. And then Hillary Clinton, according to what WikiLeaks, her campaign chairman, John Poindexter, 2014, was then Counselor Barack Obama. Counselor to President Barack Obama said that Saudi Arabia and Al-Qaeda are both giving financial and logistic support to Islamic State and other extremist groups. But yet Hillary took money from the Saudis. Hillary took money from the Saudis. Hillary took money from the Saudis, who supports Al-Qaeda and ISIS. It's not a big deal, folks. That's not dangerous. What's dangerous if Donald Trump said something, they caught him on tape. That's dangerous. Not what Hillary's done. What, $24 million from the Saudi? Wants to open borders for people to walk in? From a policy that's horrible that this president has created. Let's go to Jason in Shreveport. Jason, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, Moon. Listen, as a stagehand myself, I can tell you that we have influenced, for instance, the UFC fighting matches at the Riverdome and Horseshoe Casino just by the lighting director telling us to cook one of the fighters with a spotlight.
Oh my God!
So when you look at the
hold your thought, Jason, because I got to take this break. Hard break is about 5 minutes, but if you can hold, I want you to come back and tell us the story. Okay, please hold for me. Got to take a break. The Moon Griffon Show as we rock and roll. We'll be right back. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has that hotline. Don't forget to check out our good friends at Walk-On's Official Sports Bar, the Moon Griffon Show. A lot more than a sports bar. A lot more. And you're going to enjoy the food. The atmosphere is a lot of fun. We like to quote Drew Brees. He's a part owner now. Actually, my cousin was one of the two kids that started that, Brandon Landry. But Drew says, I wanted to invest in something I can bring my kids, and you really can. It's really kid-friendly, and the food's great. They're going to love it. All right, let's go to Jason. Jason, you still with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, since we had the long break, let me do this. I want you to start all over again.
All right. As a spotlight operator and stagehand, I can tell you that when I worked at the Riverdome, we could influence the outcome of a fight in the UFC fights just by turning up the intensity of our spotlights. So we would follow the fighter around with a high-intensity spotlight and lower the beam on the person we wanted to win.
You admitting you did that?
Well, you're also taking commands in your headset from the lighting director.
Okay. You kind of doing doing your job like if you was a state policeman, and right. Colonel Edmondson told you to drive across the state to do something, you had to do it.
And if you don't do your job, you're fired.
Okay, I get you now. Go ahead.
Exactly. So when you look at the debate, and you watch the debate, and you see Hillary Clinton walking somberly across the stage, she's not sweating, she's not out of breath, that's when you have a system that's rigged where not only the moderators, but the stagehands, the lighting director, and the sound director are in on it also, because they lower the intensity from the catwalk on the spotlight, and they intensify the spotlight on Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. Then you also have the sound director. The sound director has the choice on which microphones work awesomely and which ones don't really work. So it's supposed to be a walk-around debate with a handheld microphone.
Sure.
And you see Donald Trump holding his microphone up to his mouth because he's not getting a good sound. So what the sound director does is he actually dials down the sound on his microphone. So to him, it sounds like he's not really speaking loud enough. Mm-hmm. So he has to speak louder. At the same time, he's being cooked by a spotlight, and it picks up his breathing, which makes him sound unintelligible.
Yeah. So you're saying they can play the game then?
Oh, they're playing the game big time, because when you look at Hillary Clinton, notice she doesn't have the microphone to her her mouth like Donald Trump. She actually has it off to her side, mm-hmm. which tells me as a stagehand that handheld microphone wasn't even working. They didn't even have it turned on, because when you look at the left lapel of her pantsuit, you'll see a very high-tech microphone pinned to her coat. So she was being her audio was being fed through a very high-tech microphone, which does not pick up breathing, and had a foam cover around the microphone to filter out breathing.
Wow.
So the entire debate was rigged, from the moderator, the stagehand, sound director, and lighting director.
Interesting. All right,
very
Jason.
Interesting.
All right, Jason. Thanks for the
info.
info.
Have a great afternoon.
Appreciate the info.
Yep.
Let's move on. And I just one guy's opinion. One guy says this is what they had to do. Stu in Alexandria. How you doing, Stu?
Doing well, Moon. Thank you for taking my call. One real quick observation. I think we all know that the debate has been beaten to death. It's been analyzed and dissected. But I'm surprised that no one has commented on something that stood out glaringly to me at the very end. One of the last comments from the audience was a gentleman who challenged both Trump and Hillary to announce or to indicate something that they respected about the other. Mm-hmm. And Trump indicated pretty smoothly that he respected Hillary's dedication. She doesn't give up, etc. And Hillary had to pause and think for a moment, finally decided that she respected his children.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very, very telling that it was so shallow, and that she really has no regard for him as an opponent, as a professional, as someone worthy to be on the stage with her.
Yeah, that's the problem. It was reported that Hillary Poindexter said that Hillary really doesn't like people. She really doesn't. She has to use them to get where she wants to get to. She really doesn't like people, have no respect for people. She thinks she's royalty. Mm-hmm. She's not. She won't be royalty if she wins the presidency. It will be a sin and a shame is what it's going to be. It's interesting. But no, I did hear somebody say that yesterday on one of the programs, the first time I had heard it, and I did not watch the closing deal, so I missed that.
Yeah, it was a very, very telling commentary. If you caught it was in the final seconds.
Yeah, it's interesting. But anyway, look, thanks for the call. I missed it, but I heard somebody else say it yesterday. By the way, thank you. New York Post is reporting the Manhattan Democratic representatives on the City Board of Elections was caught on the secret video slamming Mayor de Blasio's municipal ID program as contributing to all kinds of fraud, including at the polls. He gave an ID card, de Blasio. He gave out ID cards, de Blasio, That in lieu of the driver's license, but you can use it for anything. Commissioner Shucken said in an undercover video recorded by Muckraker for conservative non-profit. But they didn't vet people to see who they... Anyway, Brandon, I got this. Can I play this from here?
Yeah, you can.
I hope it's good and clear. You ready?
Yep, ready to go.
This is the commissioner talking about this to somebody kind of undercover. Like, this is one of these tapes, like they taped to somebody that you wouldn't want to play watch. Poll site to poll site. Poll site to poll site. Poll site to poll site. They bust him around. Anyway, is it over, Brandon? Okay. I think it's still playing something, but it don't matter. We can go back. So, in other words, what they're doing is busing people poll site to poll site. Are you asking if they're voting more than once? Yes. Put them in a bus. We heard this during the Mary Landrieu campaign. Democrat Party. When he was asked what neighborhoods, I didn't want to say why. Black. The black neighborhoods. I'm telling you where they're doing it at. They're doing it in the black neighborhoods. Can't say that, though. Can't say that. Can't tell the truth. Busting them around neighborhood to neighborhood with these fake IDs at the mayor of New York. Folks, the morality in the Democrat Party is closer to Satan than anything else. They just don't care as long as they win. And Republicans could turn this around on them so much. Never do it. Don't even try to do it. Don't even try to do it. The use of the inner city vote by Democrats will continue. And what will happen to the inner city? Nothing good. Let's go to Deborah in West Monroe. Deborah, how you doing?
Isn't that interesting, Moon? I remember Acorn. That was Barack Obama before he was
but
president.
let me go back. Let me go back before that, Deborah. Mary Landrieu, Woody Jenkins.
Oh gosh,
they bust them around. Change what they do. They put them on a bus. Change their shirts. Change their jackets. Send them to the next polling place. They do that all the time. They already got it lined up, and they do it in certain areas. And if you don't have honest elections, we're done. Totally done. And then throw that with weak Paul Ryan and Congressman Abraham and Monroe Alexander get rid of Trump, then you got a problem.
You know the only difference between Paul Ryan and John Boehner is smoking. One smokes, one don't.
I don't know, though. I think they both smoking something.
Yeah. I want to give a shout-out again, believe it or not, to Jeff Landry, who is standing up against this great honor code, John Bell Edwards, against these something like 60 law firms that have donated and formed PACs that got him elected in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
These contracts for the coastal restoration. You heard, I don't know if you saw the story in Drudge, but they did the Dead Pelican, but they did a great job. And I hope that everybody stands up with Jeff Landry because he's actually doing the job that we elected him to do, that we haven't had in this state in a long time. And something else I want to bring up about this cool yah about Trump and his dirty mouth, which everything can be cured, with a bar of soap in that respect. But on Drudge, they had an Obama standing at a podium at Cambridge University, public library now, and he was talking about he wasn't going to ever give up eating ribs and meow. I know, using the P word. I saw the comment. Yeah.
Yeah, but once again, he's a Democrat. Say and do whatever the heck you want to do. It doesn't matter. Anyway, y'all go to Drudge Report. Wiki leaves a lot of stuff out on Hillary. Things that very interesting. She don't like people. She don't. Wait till she becomes president, you're gonna see how much she really doesn't like people. Especially if you're conservative or why you do it. You're gonna find out real quick. We gotta take a break. Be right back. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Last segment of the day. As my program director calls it. Thank God, last segment. By the way, you come in here with a phone and you're looking at something. You don't have something on me when I was 29 or 39 or something that I said. Huh?
No, when you run for office, we'll bring that out. I have been waiting.
Well, we're in great shape because that ain't happening, brother.
I tell people that all the time because I do talks pretty often. I did that panel in New Orleans over the weekend. People say, you'd be great at speaking, and I'm like, yes, because it's not me that's running. I mean, I almost wonder why you'd even subject your family to that.
Brandon, I just told you I'm not running for office.
Yes,
I swore I'd never get married. Swore I'd never build a house.
Uh-huh.
How come when you say you're never going to do something that happens?
That's exactly.
You know what I go around telling everybody now? Never going to be a millionaire. Never going to be a millionaire, Brandon. I'm never going to be a millionaire. I really did. You walked in here with a phone. I got something for you, and I thought, oh, my God, he's going to play it on my show, what I said when I was 29 years old.
I'm just so interested in this whole Glenn Beck thing. I mean, I just think it's interesting. Let me tell you,
I got burned a while ago.
Yeah.
And they said Glenn Beck endorsed Hillary. But one of Glenn Beck's big guys said, no, he did not. He endorsed Johnson. Get your story straight.
Gary Johnson.
Gary Johnson.
Well, and he may have endorsed him. Fine. The thing that he said was, he's looking at the eventual election of Hillary Clinton. He's saying if she's elected, Hillary Clinton as president, by refusing to support Donald Trump, meaning that's how if that was your decision process, is a, quote, moral and ethical choice for Republicans. Now, it just kind of goes back to that same thing. Personally, I think you're just going to see really low voter turnout because I think most people aren't going to. People aren't going to vote for her. They're not going to vote for her as a way to get back at him. They're just done with it already. I think they're not going to go, which is terrible for the amendments, for the local.
I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of times in lower voter turnout, because the thing we don't know is the Trump vote that's out there that's registered to vote that ain't saying anything, solid majority. I think there's something out there. Mm-hmm. You let the vote cave in from the left, and the Republican can win. See, I think Hillary's she's climbed. She's not going any higher.
Yeah.
Trump's right around that edge, give or take. He can still climb. Mm-hmm. So what you do is you beat him to death, and then you win. And then she'll win like her husband won. Her husband never got a majority vote.
And the one thing that you don't have is, on the Republican side, Republicans who say, I don't like Trump, but I like Carson, or I like Pence.
Yeah.
There's no Democrat that is saying, if you don't like her, who else do they got?
Right. In all fairness, on the Republican side, you can say, who else do you have? This is it.
Yeah.
One of those two can be president. I don't care if you vote for third or fourth or fifth or 25th party.
Totally.
One of these two are going to be president when all said and done.
That's because Democrats know how to unite around whoever they have, and Republicans just attack each other.
It's a sad situation to look at when I see these people like Ron Paul is more, Paul Ryan or Ron?
Paul Ryan.
Okay, Paul Ryan, I get them confused. Paul Ryan shows me what a typical Republican is. Well, we're not getting our way. And by the way, I'll say it again. We're joking about you having tape on me. I guarantee you, if you'd have followed my whole life, you'd have plenty of tape on me, but I'd have some on you too, and I'd have it on Brandon.
And you know what? And the difference
I would even have it on Scott Daniels.
It's like, but it could easily be erased with a good lunch. No, but I think what it kind of comes down to is
the whole stack.
The Republicans. In this situation, it's a take care of yourself type situation. Take care of yourself, however it takes. Because you know what? Laura Ingraham, another host, made a good point. As soon as you're not in office, you're irrelevant. You know what I mean? That part of it. And that's what, all these politicians, I don't care what side of the road, what side of the aisle you're on, a lot of the motivation is being relevant.
Limbaugh made a good point the other day. He said these politicians who've done this all their life, everything they do, from the amount of money they make, how they file income taxes, how they give away money, what they say everywhere, is based on them staying in office. Mm-hmm. And one comment to get you kicked out of office.
Yep.
I'll still say it again. Trump made the comments. I'm not condoning it, but I'm just telling you. There's a lot of comments out there if we start grabbing comments. Now, I've been getting this all day. No, I'm not saying that I know this, but a bunch of people have texted me and said, wait, Trump's holding her using the N-word. Well, that would be a life change. That'd be another game changer.
That's what, and
but I hadn't seen it and it hadn't been proved. I'm not going with the story. I'm just telling you what people are saying.
We talked about it earlier this morning. As up and down as this race has been, I truly don't think it matters until a week of.
The week of?
Yeah, the week of, really. Because there are so many tapes and everything. And then let's just not forget, once someone gets elected, it's going to continue. I mean, it continued forever.
Well, let me tell you something. It didn't continue with Obama. It won't continue on Hillary.
Well, you didn't think it continued with him? The birther thing came up after he was elected.
But you know what? When I say it didn't come up, I didn't say that right. And since you had experience at talk radio and CNN, you got maybe a better perspective.
Yeah.
The news media that I still think's on the left, and I'm not a big Fox fan either. They run with what they want to run with. When Bill Clinton ran the first time, they were interviewing people that didn't have jobs. They could go interview all the people they want right now that don't have jobs or working for less money than they need to. They're not doing any interviews on how is Obamacare affecting you in the middle class. They could. What I'm saying is they got their twists and their leans, and that's where they stand.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see what happens. But anyway, if you get the tape, let me listen to it. We make you laugh together.
I
don't know what I said at 29 or 39 either. Hell, I don't know what I said at 909. All right, thanks, Rob. Appreciate it, brother. All right, Rob, he gets excited about this time because he knows I'm getting ready to get off. Joey in Abbeville. How you doing, Joey?
Hey, Moon, I'm doing good. All these politicians you interviewing for these upcoming elections, the Republicans, you need to tell them, hey, you need to change party. Get away from being a straight white male. You got to claim to be some other perversion, okay? And you got to hire Miley Cyrus as your campaign manager.
Absolutely.
And then you in like Flynn.
Yep.
Well, I told you,
everything,
white male.
Everything is flipped in this country. What was wholesome and good is bad. You know, Hillary made a comment the other day that Islam or people that were Islam were fighting with George Washington. Okay?
Yep.
And I laughed at that thinking, but let me go back to what she said. Let's say it was true. Let's say there was one. Well, that means they came over here and assimilated to our culture and our way of living, and they fought the good fight for us. You get the drift? Yep. So if anybody wants to come over here and they don't believe like I believe, that's fine. But when you come to our country, you assimilate with us and what we believe in our culture. So if she's right, then they wanted to be Christian. They wanted to live in the culture and the world that we provided, that was provided for us by our founders. Don't you think I'm correct by that?
Oh, yeah. I keep saying, if this is such a bad country, why are there so many damn people trying to come here?
Well,
the number
one
answer is freedom. Freedom.
Well, that's the number one. Go ahead.
The difference between these countries that are starving to death and us goes back to the Second Amendment. We can protect ourselves from tyranny and these dictators who take all the money and the food and they're starving in the street. That is the difference. And until we wake up and realize that, end of story.
Well, the problem is, Joy, we can become that. We can become that.
Oh yeah. In one generation, we can go from freedom to tyranny and some ism, socialism, communism. We can lose it in no time. But the Second Amendment right now and our ability to protect ourselves from tyranny and our government is what's keeping this country in the state it's in right now.
But Hillary says we're going after the Second Amendment. Hillary says we're going after the guns. She's telling people that, and you talk to me, well, I ain't voting. Well, you just voted for Hillary to take away your only protection you really have at your house. Unbelievable. All right, we got to run. Thanks. Appreciate the call. Brandon says hump day tomorrow already. Man, it is. The weeks are flying, aren't they?
I love it.
They're not flying fast enough with some people this election. I just don't want people to have heart attacks out there no matter what happens. I still think deep down, if the people decide to go against the elitists, we would take back our country. Voting for Hillary is voting for elitists. God bless. See you tomorrow.